Welcome back to the Quick Cash Flow Keys. We are here to give you the second key to quick cash, and this is our second case study. Here we're going to talk about something that's not quite as recent. This was about 5 or 6 years ago, but our Quick Cash Flow Key case study number 1 was much more recent. And part of the reason why I want to do this is I want to show you it doesn't matter how long or how recent it is, these keys will work. It is just something that is true in business, right? This one is also going into high traffic, high ticket offers because again, I want you to see it doesn't matter if you've got a little traffic or a lot. It doesn't matter if you're charging a little or a lot. This is the stuff that works that you need to know if you are trying to sell something and make some money. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. Just like before, I'm going to start with the industry context so you know sort of where I was at. Unlike the first case study where it was a brand new industry for me, it was something I was not very familiar with. This one I had a lot of experience in. So the way that I got into business was I started working with Mara Glazer in social media marketing. And when I saw what worked for her, I started modeling it. And I went and I started a business called The Greek Tweak that literally was a copy of what she did, but in a new industry. And then from there, when I saw, oh, I know how to build traffic, but I wasn't selling offers. We talked about that, right? In case study number 1, you need an offer. It needs to be a good offer, right? Upgrade that offer. I did the same thing here. I went and I started a virtual assistant agency so that it had good offers that I could actually sell. I learned traffic. I didn't learn offers. Then I started doing 10K VA where I was teaching other people the traffic and offers piece. And that's when I started actually making money in coaching. I went to Coach with Amanda. I had my first 6-figure launch. And then when I had already made 6 figures multiple times, I said, you know what? I want to upgrade, right? I learned so much. Let me upgrade. These upgrades, you gotta catch on to that, right? Like at times you need to upgrade your business to rise and get to that next level. I did the same thing here. This is when I launched Market Like a Nerd, which most people know me by, because that was how I did more 6-figure offers and even got to the point where I had a 500K plus case study. Guess which one this is? This one is that. I'm going to talk about my multi 6-figure 500K plus launch. That's what we're going to go into today. And you can see I had a lot of experience before that. Okay. I had a lot of test runs before that. And this was my upgrade, my rise. Now, how did I do that? Through the offers. Let's start with the offers first. The upgrade I wanted to do was I wanted to start charging high ticket. Before this, I had charged, hourly for my virtual assistant. I had charged, $2,000 for a coaching offer that I made 6 figures off of. I had done a lot of courses that I had sold for, $47, $97, $147, $297, that type of thing, right? I had offers that I sold for low ticket, but I had not yet sold $10,000, $28,000 type of things. That was going to be new to me. So I wanted to actually rise and upgrade and start doing that. So I launched Marketing Nerds Mastermind. This was my first high-end mastermind that I was going to sell so that people could come to retreats and meet me in person, and they would get one-on-one private coaching from me specifically. All right. And so as I'm sending traffic, we'll get into that, to this offer, and I was doing sales conversations on the phone, getting them to buy this offer, what I did was I made it so the earlier you sign up, the better deal you get. And so I actually went from charging $10,000 for this Marketing Nerds Mastermind to people who signed up. I don't know when it was like maybe like the first 30 days. Or no, you know what? I think it was the first 5 people who joined, they got it for $10,000. And then it was like the next 5 people get it for, I don't know, 15,000. Then the next 5 get it for 20. Then it was 24. Then it was 28. This has been, like I said, 5 or something years. So I don't quite remember the pricing. You'll have to just trust me that this is kind of what it was like. It was like the earlier you sign up, the better deal you get. And so the people who joined the absolute latest were signing up for like $28,000. Right. So it was genuinely good for them to get in as soon as possible. And this is still genuinely the case when people buy from me. And that is a way to kind of get your audience familiar with and trusting of anything that you say urgency wise. Anyway, so that was my main offer. High ticket Marketing Nerds Mastermind. The earlier you sign up, the better deal you get. Now, one of the things that I noticed, my observation in the course of being able to sell these, was that some people, they just didn't have enough money at that moment to be able to buy. And I said, you know what? I know how to get money in now. So if I coach them to get money in now, they can reinvest it back into me, because I also would have proven to them that I know how to make money. Okay. And so I said, what if I handle the objections by doing an entry-level offer that helps them make enough money that they reinvest back into me? And this is how I started the Cash Injection Intensive. If you are in this industry and you've heard cash injection campaigns, cash injection intensive, cash flow now, that type of thing, guess who they learned it from? They learned it from me. And they are either copying me, or they're certified by me, or they're licensed from me. And that is all coming back from me. I was the first person to launch this, and I sold it for $1,000 or $2,000, depending upon how early you signed up. So the earlier you signed up, the better price you got. And the way that I did this is it was a 2-week intensive. You paid $1,000 or $2,000 to learn from me for 2 weeks, and I taught you 8 cash injection campaigns. And then I literally tracked your process, your progress for 2 weeks. And as they were doing campaigns, I was helping coach them through the process of actually making money within those 2 weeks. And I turned it into a contest. So the more money you made, and you had to submit screenshots, proof to me that you're actually making money and not just claiming to, right? And it was a contest to see who could win to earn the most amount of money within those 2 weeks. So I made it this like fun experience for them as well. And I got a lot of people who bought into that. And and then people would buy into Cash Injection Intensive, make money, and then reinvest it back into Marketing Nerds Mastermind. And so then at that point, I had, I don't know, it was like 20 people, I can't remember, into Marketing Nerds Mastermind. And I said, okay, now let me do an upsell. Let me do an upsell. And so I started selling done for you branding. People loved my branding. Market Like a Nerd had just the most amazing branding ever, and people wanted something like that for themselves. And so I said, you know what? I can do your branding for you. And I sold it for $10,000, and I got people who bought done for you branding as well. So entry level and handling objections was Cash Injection Intensive. Main signature high ticket offer was Marketing Nerds Mastermind. Upsell from there was done for you branding. These were the offers that got me into the over $500,000 booked. Let me just say that. So I got them to sign yes, they paid a good amount up front, but they signed a contract saying this was going to be paid. I think it was over 12 months, and they had a monthly payment that they had to make. The Cash Injection Intensive was either paid in full or paid within 30 days. Done for you branding, I think similarly, it had a certain amount up front, and then the rest was paid over time, something like that. So just know when I say over 500K, I mean booked. Okay. In the previous case study, it was banked because they had to pay for it. It was only $50. So they pay for it when they go through the shopping cart. Anyway, so these are the offers. This is what I sold. Now, a lot of people will say, okay, Amanda, but how did you get the people buying this in the first place? And guess what? Even though you have an offer, in order for you to make sales, you need traffic. you need leads. If you don't have leads, you're not going to get sales. And this is part of what people will avoid. They'll have these really good ideas for what they can sell, but they don't put enough effort into the traffic portion of it. I did so much for this traffic, and that's why I made so many sales. I said, you know what? I want to do about 90 days worth of traffic, generating it and also nurturing it, getting people in the door to be leads, but then getting them to be nurtured, to know, like, and trust me, so that once I put an offer out there, they actually trust me enough to buy. I did it for 90 days. And then the other 30 days was me actually selling. Okay. So how did I do the traffic? Well, I launched Market Like a Nerd, the new brand. And in the course of launching the new brand, I had a web TV show and I had a podcast in the process of that. And I was regularly posting those. Now, the website I don't have it anymore because I completely and utterly changed brands. But if you go to Market Like a Nerd on YouTube, you should be able to find one of the other places that I publish them. So you might see there's some that are like at 0 views, and it's because this isn't where I used it. But if you scroll down, you'll see this is what my web TV show initially looked like, and it had like just incredible branding and editing on the videos. And so this is what my web TV show looked like. But then this portion is what my podcast looked like. So the podcast also had a video version. You know, it's interesting too. You'll notice in the previous case study, I have had some videos or some TikToks that only had like 400 views and it made sales. Here you can see like this one had 91, this one has 600. And these will still make sales. So you don't need crazy amounts of traffic, but you do need good traffic. Okay, so you can kind of scroll through my my YouTube channel to kind of see examples, and you can see they're very high quality. Like things that I put a lot of effort into. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on, let me share my screen really quick. All right. So this is my YouTube. Sorry, I thought I was sharing when I did it. This is my YouTube. And some of these are case studies that I did with clients, which is obviously very know, like, and trust oriented. These are some of my earlier episodes, and you can see it's like really good branding. There's that good editing. As you scroll up, these are the actual podcasts that I did. I had them as audio and as video, right? So if you go onto YouTube and you look up Market Like a Nerd, you'll see the web TV show and you'll see the podcast. And you can see they didn't have an insane amount of views, but it was very, very high quality materials that I was publishing. Now, the other thing that I did was I organized what's called a telesummit, where you go and you interview a bunch of people and you get traffic, get leads to opt in, to give you their name and email address in order to get access to those interviews. And so I went and I found 40 different millionaires or people who have worked with millionaires to interview them on their process and on whatever they're an expert in, to reveal to the people who opt in how this works. And that's a lot of work to interview 40 of them, but that's very, very high quality materials. I then went and I pitched myself. I got myself onto 50 podcasts. I think it was in like 60 days or something. And then I built a Facebook group called Market Like a Nerd with about 10,000 members. I built a mailing list initially at 1,000, but I got all the way up to 40,000 people on my mailing list. So you can see this is a lot of traffic sources, a lot on social media, a lot on publicity. I do think I ran ads during this portion too. I can't remember. And so you can see that is a lot of traffic sources. And so it shouldn't be crazy to believe like, yeah, I got over $50,000 in booked sales in 120 days because I rose. I gave myself the ability to rise when it came to traffic. In case study number 1, I talked about how I upgraded. I rose with my offer. You need to do the same thing with your traffic. The better offer you have, the better traffic you have, the better money you are going to make. And the more consistently you are going to make it. It doesn't matter if you are in a new niche or one that you have experience in. It doesn't matter if you're doing low ticket or you're doing high ticket. If you have a little bit of traffic, yes, you can make money. If you have a lot of traffic, it's going to make a good bit, especially if it's actual good traffic. Like you put in effort to make sure you don't just have dead traffic. Like I actually, on one of my telesummits, I had someone on my list of interviews who had 100,000 people on her mailing list. She maybe sent like 90 clicks. It was very, very little. So yes, she had huge traffic, but it was dead, or they didn't trust her, or it was just not being done right. Okay. So you want to have good offers, you want to have good traffic, and if you send the traffic to the good offer, you are going to make money. This is how it works. And so what I want you to learn from this is you need to build your traffic and then put your offer in front of it, and that is how you are going to make money, because no traffic means you got no leads, which means you are going to get no money out of this. So that is what I wanted you to learn through case study number 2. Your step here is go build your traffic and put your offer in front of it. But guess what? You also need to keep watching for secret number 3. And in the meantime, go review Immediately Paid. That is the membership where I'm going to keep doing case studies so you can continue learning from what I have done to make money so you can model it. You'll get examples of the profit clone technique where we're looking at what other people are doing. And I'm going to show you how I evaluate it and how I model it. I clone it so that I can make money by seeing what else is being done in a good way. There is so much value in joining the Immediately Paid membership. So go ahead and I will see you inside.